remember the days when I could ride my BMX and I didn't have to wear a helmet. Does anyone remember any of those days? Or I can remember the days when I was allowed to go out and play at a friend's house. And do you know what we used to do? We used to drink water from the garden hose and not get worried about anything that was ever going to happen. And do you know what? We'd also go out all day in the holidays, and the only rule I had is I had to be in before it was dark. No cell phones. Nobody knew where we were just allowed out. And it was kind of a day of doing that, just outside playing. I remember the days when 4 of us would go and buy a big bottle of Coke, and then we would all drink out the same bottle because we were like 10, 11 years old. And nobody does that. I've been to our youth and they won't even share. Like a bottle each, they just go, oh, you just have it now. We don't do that anymore. We'd be like, oh, pass it round, and those kind of things. The good old days, maybe. But maybe it could be a moment that has been something that you really remember well. Othniel, how old are you? 12, one of our youngest dancers. Wasn't he brilliant with the flag on there? Othniel, tell us a good day for you that you can remember. When I got the highest mark on a test. Hey, that's a good day, isn't it? But often we can try and live in good days, can't we? Our Ghostbusters theme is about 2 things. It's about busting the unreality or the fantasy in people's lives. Some people live in an unreality, an unreal world, don't they? They live in fantasy that some big moment is just going to happen, it's all going to be alright. They kind of have got a ghost of something that's not really there, and they kind of live in an unreal world. I was speaking with somebody who wants to buy a 4-bedroomed house, a detached house, but they were telling me they've got £20,000 worth of debt on their credit cards. And I kind of think there's an unreality because they're looking for this big life and they're looking for something that they want, but actually they need to get some things in order first. There's a ghost there. Or maybe your second Ghostbusters is something in the past that has either been better than where you're at now and you long for those days, or it's been something that was worse or something that happened that actually shapes where you are now. Maybe it was some kind of expectation or something that a parent put on you or a teacher put on you, but it still shapes where you're at right now. It's time to bust some ghosts, isn't it? Because if we're going to move on to a new level, to an upgrade in God, every year people get upgrades on their phones, don't they? Sometimes maybe we need to upgrade our spiritual life and kind of not be content where we are, but continue to go higher and further in who God has made us to be. I'm reading loads of stories to Ava Giselle at the moment. She can't really respond too much, but I'm having a good time anyway, because I'm kind of going, the Hungry Caterpillar. Oh yeah, I remember that. Anyone else remember The Hungry Caterpillar? Come on, you know that is one of the best books ever. The Hungry Caterpillar, or other such books. Peter Rabbit, I've got out, and Enid Blyton's The Magic Faraway Tree, and all sorts of different things. Oh, there's loads of things in that. But I was reading a book, and you'll have heard the story. It's the book of Chicken Licken. And when I say Chicken Licken, I don't mean the food outlet on the Zells Road, okay? I mean like Chicken Little, as the American kind of Hollywood has shaped it. Chicken Little, Chicken Licken. And this is what happened to Chicken Licken. She was sitting under a tree, eating her packed lunch, and an acorn falls off the tree and lands on her head, and suddenly she thinks that the whole sky is falling in. And so she goes off on a journey, and everywhere on that journey she's going to tell the king about what has happened, that the sky is falling in and there's going to be a big disaster for the whole of the land and the kingdom. And while she goes on the journey, she meets different animals like Lucy-Goosey and all that kind of different thing, Goosey-Lucy, and she kind of convinces all of them to come with her. And then they get right away to almost to the end, to the king, and they meet Foxy Loxy. They all rhyming, like Bad Brat and Hiya Maya, and Nifty 50, nifty 50, it's a nifty 50 and all that kind of stuff. But they meet Foxy Loxy, who tricks them all to kind of into a little bit of a trap, and then Foxy Loxy eats them and all this kind of stuff. And you can either have the good version, where they're now right for children because it's all politically correct now and the animals can't get hurt in the making of this story or anything like that. Or you can have the real version where they all get eaten, but in the other version they all kind of escape now and stuff like that. But you know, the whole premise was that the sky is falling on our heads. And it comes to almost like a mass hysteria that doom and gloom is going to happen. Now I know the last MainRoom thing was the fear, but we are still in a time where there's hysteria and things suddenly sweep in and suddenly we're all distracted and everybody's kind of in this place. Wasn't it amazing how the words, the big freeze, suddenly swept right into everything that everybody was doing? So it wasn't just that there was difficulty in getting to work or, you know, transport and all those kind of things, but it was almost like the worst we've ever seen for 30 years. And, you know, we're going to even do a documentary on the big freeze. And, you know, there was something that suddenly swept in, and now it's finished and it's gone, and it's almost like a sky is falling moment, isn't it? Something that happens. Do you know, I always find that a lot of funny things happen to me in airports, whenever I go to airports. And I was in an airport in America, and we were coming back, and me and Louise were standing behind this guy in the airport, and he went forward, and we'd been waiting a long time, and there was lots of problems and this kind of thing, and he went to the counter, and he just let rip with a torrent of, you know, kind of abuse and kind of 4-letter words and 3-letter words and 2-letter words and, you know, just anything. It just came out with so much, and he's just like having a go at the checkout desk. And the lady behind the checkout desk just remained unbelievably calm. And I thought, oh man, I've got so much to learn. You know, I would have been just like straight over the other top and then remember who I am. But you know, she was kind of like remaining dead calm and polite, and he was going on, and in fact it took even longer for him to get sorted because of the way he was kind of going on and all this kind of stuff and things like that. Anyway, me and Louise came, and Louise says to this lady, she said, do you know what, we just want to say that was fantastic. You remained so calm and polite. You know, how did you do that? Because we thought, oh, maybe she might be a Christian or something and she might say something. But this is what she said. She said, oh, that's okay. She said, he's going to New York, but his bags are going to Bangkok.